Do you understand how powerful you are? When your presence is now outside of you, it is influencing others, besides yourself. Then simultaneously bringing it back home, reeling it back, being like, you know what? I fucking value the motherfucking shit out of my presence. That is what you pay. That is the price. And the price is invaluable. It is indescribably something that cannot be put into a value system. And then simultaneously, because of how much value it is so important to protect your space, to be discerning. And when I say discerning, it is so fucking simple, by the way. It is so simple. It is just this interesting intricacy of emotions: guilt, shame, regret, attachment, remorse, rage. Like, all these things that constitute the fact that you can co-create with the universe. It's about the level of least resistance so that you can also mitigate the amount of information that you're taking in. Going at your own pace is so fucking important. This is not a fucking competition, but it's a process that you get to unfold with yourself. That is why every single fucking present moment that you are in is valuable. It's invaluable. You cannot put a value to it. It's how much presence and value that you bring your awareness to. When you're allowing yourself to be at the frequency of all the things that you desire, it's about maintaining that. Discipline is so important because sometimes it comes in a creative way that is so beyond what you are already doing. Receptivity, right? Being creative is to allow there to be a different perception, different sensings, so that you can open yourself to others' perspectives, what they're experiencing. That is where your discernment comes in, so that you're not plugging into past narratives that don't align with you. Do you feel what I'm saying? Because hello, collective, it's Kai. And once again, this is all just based on my own experience. I'm not trying to tell you what to do or what works best for you. I just pray that this video can possibly support you on your journey. You know that feeling when you get kind of like, how do I describe this? Like, it's not even regret. It's not even just regret. It's kind of like a little bit of pride and regret, and also like you really just want to help. But then you recognize that what you're doing may not align with what the other person is doing for themselves to support them. So that's when we can step away from this desire to do something that we do not have control over. That phrase of like, you cannot heal people. They just simply have to choose to heal themselves. I feel like I've been really understanding that because there's so many people in my life that I've experienced where I'm just like, damn, I really want you to be a part of my life. But it wasn't mutual, right? That's just an example. So it's like that level of understanding that just because they do not welcome me into their life doesn't mean that I'm of less value. It is actually to say that my value is not being perceived. Perception, senses, you know what I mean? And it's like, there is nothing that I need to do to prove to them that I deserve a place in their life. It is actually to say that I'm taking no for an answer. And that in itself is an interesting concept to even talk about, especially because there have been many times where I could say for a fact, I know that there are interactions that I have with others where I'm like, you know what? I need to say no to this in its entirety. I don't really have a reason, but I feel it. And with all due respect, not only to them, but to how I feel, I'm gonna say no. When we allow ourselves, just allow ourselves to be, where there's nothing about being something else, it's about simply being, where you experience every single aspect, every single light and dark moment with yourself, even the neutral parts of your life, where it's like, okay, I'm living, things are kind of like fluid, in a sense of like also releasing that like urge to considerably consume information, or to even, what is the word? I can't even think of the fucking word. Like capitalize. Which is so ironic to me, because truly that energy exchange, right? When we build our capacity to be a lot larger than what it was before, that is simply to show that you have more space. But sometimes it is also to say that you are decluttering the fuck out of your space so that you can welcome things that are more aligned, that keep the energy clear. Clarity. Not just communication, but resonance. The frequency that we're at, the people that we meet, the environments that we were in, the things that have changed, man. The things that have fucking changed, whether it's just your own perception or perspective of things. That can be so fucking big in the whole ass journey of understanding how valuable, invaluable you are. And I say this with so much passion because truly, recently I've been experiencing this thing where I'm just like, you know what? This is just not worth my fucking energy. And it's just not there. It's just literally me being angry, for example, which definitely gave up. I was like, bro, that just feels so foreign. That just feels so foreign to be upset about this kind of thing. And it's also to say that I am requiring myself to show up and be like, okay, so where am I not showing up in my life? And I'll figure that out. You know what I mean? It's not asking the question to receive instant gratification for the result of it happening. It's to understand that it is already here and it is being actively and passively interacted with. That is what I mean by being spiritual. Because truly, energy is so fucking real and karma will do you fucking good. And I say this because of the fact that I've literally experienced absolute fucking parallels of things that I did to other people that came right back to me. And it's like, I truly do believe that I had to learn those things in that way to actually know what I would do, how I would respond. Not just to understand and have compassion for others who may have experienced something like what I've experienced. But it's not to say that like we can't connect. I'm saying this in a sense of like, I'm an individual and as are you. And I want to respect your own individual experience. What you've perceived, what you've picked up on, what you have let go of. So sometimes when it comes to this like interesting thing of interacting with other people, I'm utterly just fucking surprised and usurped by so many things. I'm like, damn, I really thought that this was going so well. What happened? I don't know. And I've asked, obviously, certain times I'm like, okay, so what exactly is going on here? And then other times I'm like, you know what? I actually don't need to fucking know. This just feels really right. And to do right by me, it is to bring my presence back to myself and my own internal world, the things that I'm interacting with. So how am I continuously plugging into this thing that I was saying that I didn't align with? Even in this video, I'm like recognizing that. I'm like, okay, but I still did kind of interact with that energy. Where is this belief coming from? Whether it's being protective, on guard, defensive, offensive, taking things personal, you know, small pee-pee vibes. Really, because it's like, where is this fucking coming from? Because that just doesn't feel like it's me. And, you know, we could always go into this like, oh, I'm empathic, you know, I'm feeling the energy of another person. But in reality, okay, if I start to embody the energy of another person, it is no longer their energy anymore. It's now becoming mine. So that's why I'm like, the energetic, like, properties that come with being an empath also requires a level of protection and presence and awareness, consciousness, you know, conscious active activity, being proactive, not just being passive or avoidant or even anxious. Could be anything. I don't know. I just kind of really wanted to say that today. Like, I've been having this weird thing with my videos where I'm just like, bruh, what should I even say? And then I always remember, I'm like, bro, I went to every single fucking video. I never really knew what I was going to say. I just said shit. And whatever flies, flies. Whatever doesn't, doesn't. And that's fine. And so that's why it's like my own understanding of my ego is where I understand as well how I hold myself back. Right? We are all capable of doing that. The point is, are we going to choose that? That's where our free will can come in. That's how we can reconstruct our fucking minds. That is how we can literally uncondition ourselves from things that we were conditioned from the past, through the past, living into this moment, projecting ourselves into the future. Passion, desires, dreams, pursuits, achievements, things that we consider success, our own values, our own proactivity in our lives is just as important as doing the inner work. Right? Do you know what I mean? Like actually living your life and letting it be a beautiful experience. Because isn't it so beautiful? Isn't it? It's like every single time that I go through like a kind of like a low, I'm like, damn, I'm literally going to live through this. That's crazy. And I don't know when it's going to feel that way, but it will. And I know that to be true because I've brought myself from many experiences in the past. And that's how you know. Your history will tell you foundational things to remind you that you're capable. That you're capable. And you're so fucking creative. And you're so beautiful. And you coexist with the universe, but you also co-create. And you're so compassionate and so beyond what can be described in words. You're just another beautiful fucking being in itself. And that's what it is. It's that I'm not greater or less than you. We're all just fucking people trying the best that we can. Doing the best that we can. But are we doing it? You know? Shots fired. Alright guys, thank you so much for listening and allowing me the space to speak. Truly. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being alive. Truly. And I'm sending you guys so much love, so much support on your own spiritual journey. Bye, collective.